Japan is a nation of aspirations. It's a nation that leads. It's a nation that is peaceful but seeks greater military strength and economic power. It is nostalgic about the 80s when its economic growth peaked. Japan made electronic goods flooded the world's markets. Japanese innovation dominates in many areas till today. But things have changed. Japan entered a period of stagnation, and China surpassed it soon and became more and more aggressive and threatening in the process. Japan has many cards to play against its belligerent neighbor, but out of all, there is one grand ambition of Japan that can reverse the equations all over again. And Japan must get right to it while it can. Hi, and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Shubhangi, and in this video I will tell you how one change in Japan's economic policy can send China grappling for survival. Let's begin. The story of US-China rivalry has been so oversold that it has made the analysis blind to the real sleeping giant, that is, Japan. Japan, which was the first economic miracle of East Asia, gets ignored amid the US-China competition. Japan has also maintained itself at the third position in almost all economic indexes, since losing the second spot to China. As of July 2021, with $1,386 billion, Japan is only second to China's $3,371 billion when it comes to which country holds how much forex reserves. However, one cannot deny that even after previous prime ministers, be it Koizumi or Shinzo Abe, trying to revamp the economy, some bottlenecks have existed which stopped Japan from achieving the levels of growth and foreign investment one expected from the country. Japan needs to focus its attention on the low levels of foreign direct investment or FDI that it has been able to attract, even after being an OECD member country. If the country makes sufficient changes to address this, it will be a nightmare come true for China. Inward foreign direct investment or FDI is a term used to describe when a country encourages foreign corporations to build up new facilities or purchase domestic enterprises to boost growth. Be it China or recently India as well, whose forex reserves surged from $16.66 billion to a record high of $633.5 billion. Japan is an exception that has time and again resisted the inward flow of FDI. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, or the UNCTAD, ranked 196 nations in terms of cumulative inward FDI as a proportion of GDP in 2019. Japan finished dead last, slightly ahead of North Korea. According to evidence from other countries, a rise in FDI might significantly boost Japan's economic growth. The countries that benefit the most from increased FDI are those that are the least efficient in comparison to global standards. Yes, Japan excels in a few fields, for example, the automotive industry, but it lags in many others. As pointed out by FP, take for example the digital technology, which is growing to become increasingly important in all sectors of business. When one business management institution assessed 64 countries based on how much economic gain they received from their digitization investments, Japan came in dead last again. Japan's FDI was a pitiful 1.2% of its GDP when Junichiro Koizumi took office as prime minister in 2001, compared to 28% in a typical prosperous economy. Koizumi pledged to quadruple FDI in the first half of the decade, then established a goal of FDI reaching 5% of GDP by 2011. There was noticeable growth at first. By 2008, FDI had climbed to 4%. Then everything came to a halt. Despite his successor Shinzo Abe promising in 2013 to double the FDI, the ratio was only a bit higher in 2019 at 4.4%. Meanwhile, the usual affluent countries' ratio jumped to 44%. Increased FDI is a necessary component in Japan's recipe for reversing its stagnating economic growth. It will not only bring investment, but it will also help Japan utilize the potential of its high-earning consumer base, improve the flow of cash, and energize the stagnated economy of Japan. It will also bring in many different ideas and ways of doing things, a very necessary requirement. Looking at the traditional Japanese style of doing things is also acting as an additional problem to gain investors. Foreign companies are drawn to the Japanese market. Multinational corporations consistently rank Japan as a top investment destination due to its big, affluent market, highly educated population and customer base, and high technological capabilities among possible suppliers and partners. The biggest impediment to greater inward FDI, however, is that foreign companies have difficulty purchasing healthy Japanese enterprises. In a typical affluent economy, mergers and acquisitions or inbound M&A account for 80% of inward FDI, but only 14% in Japan. Because inward M&A is relatively modest, total inward FDI is low. Recently, by sending an offering to the Yasukuni war shrine, Kishida had signaled that he is going to follow Abe's policies of countering Chinese hegemony, which includes economic strengthening. It is also a strong signal that Japan's political stability has not been lost, and Kishida is not going to bow down to anyone. According to polls, many more people today regard foreign enterprises as having a beneficial impact than a negative one. The Japan External Trade Organization vigorously quoted international corporations to establish new operations in Japan that did not attempt to persuade foreign companies to buy Japanese companies. The mandate of the JETRO should include finding foreign purchasers for at-risk SMEs. With their skill set and wide networks both inside and outside of Japan's major trading corporations and mega banks would find it very profitable to function as matchmakers. The process has the potential to snowball, as studies show that SMEs are more likely to sell to a foreign corporation if they perceive others have done so successfully. Japan is seeing an increase in financial technology companies as a result of a combination of regulatory and banking industry measures, raising optimism that the world's third largest economy may finally catch up with the global finance boom. Companies will be able to sell a variety of financial goods, banking, securities, and insurance under a single financial services brokerage license, according to a revised law slated to take effect in November. Consumers will be able to access such things more easily through a smartphone app as a result of this. Previously, businesses had to seek separate permits for each of their services. These developments are bringing a much-needed change in Japanese economic policy, and it is surely going to attract immense FDI. The fact that Japan is on its way to solving the very problem that has held it back should come as a nightmare to China, where the investors are leaving en masse.